Welcome to this new tutorial. So I recorded this tutorial like a week ago, and today when I decided to start editing it, I realized that my video was corrupted, so now I have to do it all over again. And to make things worse is that I didn't have any backup of this project, so I had to try and delete everything that I did and try to get it back to how it was before I did all the edits. I hope I got it right, but if there's any confusion, please just let me know in the comments or whatever. Anyway, let's get into it. So last time we what did we do last time? I think we did the widget, but we are not displaying the widget on the screen, right? So we are gonna do that today. And so yeah, let's start. So I'm gonna start in my attribute set, and to display the widget on the screen, I want to get access to my player controller. I'm gonna use my player controller to get my widget on the screen. Now I created two variables here, one for the source player controller and one for the target, because I want this to work in multiplayer. So I want the other player, if you're hitting another player, I want them to be able to see that they're taking damage. So that's why I got both. I want to get both player controllers. So I'm getting my source player controller by getting it from the ability actor info, which I can get from the data here, which has the context handle. We can break that down and get access to the ability system component, and then from there we can get the player controller. Now for the target player controller, so data already contains a target, which we can use to get the ability actor info and the player controller of the target that we are hitting. Now I'm gonna make a vector, and I'm gonna call it world location. Now this location is going to be where we want to spawn the widget. And to get that location, I want to get it from my collision actor. So I'm gonna go to my collision actor here. Oh, and by the way, I did make some modification here, but I don't remember how it was exactly before I did the modification. But basically all I did was add this new cached damage spec. And in here, in my prep effect specs, I basically, instead of saving everything in the cached effect spec like I was doing before, I am now saving all my damage effect in this new cached damage effect spec handle here. So you can just copy this. I mean, I don't think there's much changes here. And then in my apply gameplay effect, I am now see, I didn't delete this from my previous session, so this shouldn't be here. This is what I did last time. Anyway, but yeah, it sucks that the video got corrupted. Anyway, yes, so where was I? So yeah, I added this. Now I'm checking, I'm looping through all the specs in the cache damage specs, checking they're valid, and then applying them. But before we apply them, all I want to do is just do a gameplay effect context handle, call it context, and then damage spec handles the data, get the context. From the context, I can do add origin, which is going to be get actor location. Here we go. And that's the location of the collision actor currently. So when we hit and we start applying the effects like I don't know, stagger effect or whatever, and our damage, then we also get the location of the collision actor. And I need to do damage spec handle data set context and put in the new context. Alright, now this context contains the actor location. Cool. So I can go back here. So here when we are applying the damage, now that we have added the location in the context, when we are processing the damage, all we have to do is to if now the next thing I'm gonna do is make sure that my player controller is valid, and then from here I want to call a function on my player controller to show the damage widget. Alright, so show damage number. I want that here, and actually I want to also do the same thing if I have a what is it? So target player controller. I want to do the same thing. So show damage number. Now how are we gonna do that? So let's go to our player controller. Now in my player controller, here in the public section, I'm gonna make a new function, which is going to be a client function, and make it reliable. Void, I'm gonna call it client show damage number, and it's gonna take in a float damage amount and f vector for the location. So an f vector, actually it needs to be net quantized. World location. I'm gonna pass in a bool. B is critical, so we know if it's a critical damage or not. And another bool for, let's call it, what did I call it? Let's do B is taken. B is taken is if we are taking damage or inflicting damage. So if B is taken is true, then we know that we are showing damage that we are taking. Alright, so let's generate this. So now what I want to do here is to actually access my player HUD. So Unreal has a HUD class that we can use to display stuff. And I want to make my own HUD class that we can use to display things on the screen. So that's what we're gonna do. Let's make a new HUD class. I don't know if you can create one from here. Let's find out. HUD. Nope. Alright. So I'm gonna have to compile. Let's compile and add the new HUD class. So now in tool, I'm gonna add a new class and find the HUD class. It should be here. Here we go. Create a new HUD class. Just gonna add TP for tutorial project. I'm gonna place it in my UIs folder and create it. Alright, now that we have our new HUD class, I'm going to add a public section to it and create a new function. Let's call it show damage number. And it's gonna take, well, it's the same thing as the one that I created here, right? So I'm just gonna copy all of that and paste that here. Alright, that's that. And I'm gonna add a private section also. Let's do a U property and make it edit anywhere. It's gonna be a T subclass of UTP user widget. Let's call it damage number widget class. And I think I need to forward declare this. Class UTP user widget. So this HUD needs to have access to our user widget class that we created before, so that it can create a widget of that class to display on the screen. And this widget will contain all the information that we need, right? So we created that before. Alright, so that is all done. Let's generate this. Now what do we want to do here? First thing first, let's make sure we do have a widget that we can display. So we make sure that the widget class is set, because we need to construct one of these. And if it's not, let's just do a log. There we go. That will let us know that we did not set our damage widget class. Cool. Why is this red? Incomplete, of course. Let's include UI and this. There we go. Next, I need a player controller. Let's call it PC. Oh, actually, I could have passed in a player controller. No need. On the HUD, I believe there is already a variable for the player controller. It's called player owner. So what I'm gonna do is to, if it's not set, if PC is not set, then we can get just a PC new gameplay statistics. I need an include for that. I believe it's in Kismet. Gameplay statics. Yes. Now we can use the gameplay statics. Get player controller 0. There we go. So now we can get our player controller. Let's make sure that it's valid before we continue. Cool. Now we have our player controller. Now what I want is a vector 2D. I'm gonna call it screen position. That's gonna be where on the screen we are going to display the widget. Now we get the. Now we do have a location in, but this is a. So we do have a world. Now we do have a world location of where to display the widget, but we need a screen location, not a world location. So we have to convert this location in the world into a location on the screen to be able to display it. So let's do that. And the way we do that is, let's do the const bool. I'm gonna call it p projected to screen. And there is a function library for this. What is it called? I think I need an include. It should be in blueprint, widget layout or something. This one. Alright, and widget layout library. And we can use a function from there called, I believe this one. Yeah. Project world location to widget position. That's what we need. And then we can pass in, so our player controller, the world location, screen position, and true. Alright, and that should give us a vector 2D for the screen position. So that's great. Now let's make sure. Let's do B project to screen return. So let's make sure that we did get a screen position. Otherwise, we're just gonna return. Now from here, let's create the widget that we need to display. So I'm gonna do a UTP use a widget, call it damage widget, and create one. So create widget. There we go. Now let's make sure that the widget we created is valid. So damage widget. And now we can do stuff to the widget. Alright, so the first thing I want to do, let's do damage widget is, let's do the B is damage taken. That will be equal to B is taken here. So on the widget, we do have a variable called B damage taken, which I'm gonna set to this, so that I'm passing here. So that way we can know if we are displaying a damage that we are taking or inflicting. Also, damage widget. Let's do set the damage text. That's going to be damage amount, and B is critical. What else can we do? Let's do damage widget. Let's make sure it's visible. I don't know if this is necessary or not, but it doesn't hurt. Let's make sure it's visible. Damage widget. Let's add it to the viewport. So add to viewport. So now we add it on the screen. And what else? Let's do set alignment. I don't think that's needed. No. Yeah, that should be fine. Let's set position actually. Let's set the position, which now we can pass in our screen position. And remove DPI scaling. Let's do false. Alright. So now we are creating a widget, and then we are setting all the stuff on it, like the damage, if it's a critical, etc. Adding it on the screen, and then setting the position. Its position. Cool. Let's go back to our player controller here. From the player controller, let's try to get access to our HUD, which we'll need and include here. It's in UI and HUD. Alright, here. And we can just call that new function that we created on the HUD, passing in the damage amount, the world location, B is critical, B is damage taken. Cool. Yep, so what's happening is here is where we are processing the damage. So we get our player controller, the target player controller. We get the world location from the actor here. And now let's remove this and do source player controller. We can call this function on it, passing in damage, world location, be critical, and false, as if we are the source player controller, we are inflicting damage, and if we are the target, then we can do target player controller, same thing, client, show damage, world location, be critical, and then here we pass in true, because here we are the target, we are the one taking damage, so that's gonna be true. Alright, So yeah, so we process the damage, we get the location, we call client show damage number on our controller. Now we go to our controller, so this function gets called, this function gets the player HUD, and then called show damage number on the HUD. And then the HUD makes sure that we have a damage widget class to construct. Make sure that we have a player controller. Takes the world location and converts it into a screen location. And then we create a widget. We set all the stuff on it and we add it to the viewport. Now let's compile this and make sure we do set our widget class on the HUD class that we just created. Okay, now that I'm in, I'm just gonna go to my UIs folder, and yeah, that was from my previous attempt of making this. I already have a BP. I'm just gonna delete it actually. Let's make it from scratch. And let's create a HUD here. So let's call it BP HUD. Open it. And here I'm gonna set this to my damage text widget. Right, the one we created before. This one. This is the one we're gonna use. So I'm just gonna set that here. And then here in my game mode, you can see the HUD class here. I'm gonna change that to use my BP HUD. Cool. So now I'm using my BP HUD. And I believe that's it. Right, let's test this out. I'm on the client, let's play and see. Oh, look at that. It works. Yeah, it works. Nice. Let's do 2 players. And let's do this.